Now, to talk more about the Colorado Senate race is a man with whom I served in Congress, who was a representative from that state and who ran for our nation's highest office back in 2008 before running for governor of Colorado. That would be my good friend Tom Tancredo, Skyping in from the Centennial State. Tom, it's so good to have you on America's Forum.
It's a pleasure to join you, JD. I'm glad you're doing this.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad you're here to do it with me today. So, let's get the Tom Tancredo read. What's going to happen on Election Day in this important Senate race?
Well, it looks like Corey's going to make it. And I say that not just because the polls are trending his way, but because we've got about 3 weeks, believe it or not, of mail-in ballots. And in fact, Colorado is the first state in the nation, the Democrats did this to us, to have both same-day registration and universal mail-in ballots. And so we've had balloting going on now for quite some time, and apparently the Republicans across the state are outvoting the Democrats by a pretty significant margin. So the intensity is much higher on the Republican side than the Democrat side, and if you put that with the numbers he's already got on the board in polling, looks pretty good.
Well, you just mentioned two things that, quite frankly, I hear and they scare me. Same-day registration and this insistence that everybody vote by mail. Now, you know that is a situation rife for voter fraud.
That's why they passed it. That's the only way that they like. That's the way the Democrats like to do it. You know, that's the only way they think they can win. And maybe it's the truth. But the reality is, we not only have that. Get this, JD. If you want to come to Colorado and vote in this election, get on a plane, come on out, and tell the guy at the voting booth that indeed you intend to move here. Intend to do so.
Now, despite the optimism, Tom, sounds like to me, even with those good numbers in early voting you're hearing from the GOP, we know what the deal has been in a lot of major cities governed by old Democrat political bosses. They see what vote they need to have.
That's right. And not only that, they can vote harvest here, meaning they can go around and collect up to 10 votes. An individual may collect 10 votes and bring them to the poll at the last day and deposit them.
Wow, you know, when we just had Maricopa County, Arizona Republican Chairman A.J. LaFaro talking about that, quote, ballot harvesting, where there's not a limit, where there was a kid in Arizona wearing a T-shirt from one of the leftist Alinsky groups who brought a huge box of ballots in, and that was during the primary. So the more I'm talking to you, Tom, I don't know if I'm getting so comfortable about what may transpire in Colorado.
Well, I know that's true, and the ground game here, they do it better than we do. They are outworking. The only thing, as I say, that gives me hope is that even with all of the attempts that will be made, certainly, to commit voter fraud, the numbers may just overwhelm them, simply because of this intensity factor, because Obama is so unpopular here. All I can do is hope, JD. I'm just giving you the best view of it I can.
Well, Tom Tancredo, we would expect nothing less, and we do appreciate your insight. So we will describe you as cautiously optimistic, even aware of the hijinks that can occur. You believe voter intensity for Republicans is enough to get it done. You get the last word, final 10 seconds. Okay, it's a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Exactly.
Tom Tancredo, thanks so much for your time. So, right, Tom, with a prayerful attitude, what's your take? Will Republicans prevail in Colorado? Send me your thoughts on Twitter at Newsmax TV.